Hello. Okay, let's talk about Pantheon. I am just as shocked as you are. I mean, my God. Ooh-wee. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, okay, so, yeah. Um, so, imagine my surprise. So I'm surfing the web the other day, and I come across Pantheon Season 2, Episode 1 on YouTube, and I'm like, wait, this a fan thing? Did someone make a fan thing? Because I heard that, or read, that Pantheon Season 1 was canceled at the end of it. There's not going to be a Season 2. So I'm like, well, so much for that war we had at the end of the last episode. That's just never going to happen. Like, all right, well, okay, fine. And then, like, a year later, suddenly it's announced and did that Prime picked it up. So AMC dropped it. It's an AMC product. They dropped it for their broadcast. That's why it's not on. I checked the app. It's not on there anymore. Um, so they dropped it. AMC dropped it. Prime picks it up and runs with it and makes season 2. And I'm just like, okay. So that's happening. Got to marathon this. So I'm watching episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. 4 episodes in, and the listing kind of ends there, and then I just get a bunch of clips. So, yeah, I didn't see the whole thing, but I watched the recap, so I was able to get a good idea of what happened afterwards. Episode 4, because it's only 8 episodes, apparently. So was season 1, apparently, and so was Invincible. So, yeah. Um, So, for those of you who don't know, I will try to run down this story as bestest I can. Now, as I said in the previous earlier kitchen reviews, is that Pantheon is about virtual gods. And we've seen, basically their upload, the cartoon edition. Basically, it's upload the cartoon edition. If you want to watch it. It was also on Prime, by the way. Maybe that's why they liked it. They liked good numbers. And by the way, Upload is in season 3 now, so I am currently watching that. And basically, yeah, it's what if you took um, a human mind, digitized it, and put it in the computer. Now, similarly in both shows, but somewhat differently, is the method behind it. Now, it's not just some neural scan where they put you in a like a CT scanner or whatever. No, 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 no. Apparently, in Upload, they use the mini sized version of the transporter from Star Trek to, and I'm not joking, atomically erase your head. Yeah. So the little thing starts spinning around your head, and then suddenly your head is gone. Your head's been like teleported. It was beamed up off of your body. Yeah. And then it's someone's been able to atomically analyze your brain, and therefore it's a high resolution because you want the high res as much as possible of your brain. So it was able to digitize it. And Pantheon, they had to shave your head, cut open your skull, and have a laser basically erase your brain. Not erase your mind, erase your brain. Basically, molecule by molecule, your brain is being singed off or burned away. They wouldn't know the chemical composition of your brain. Remember the high res. Eesh. Anyway, that was in the first episode, by the way, just to show how gritty this thing is. Anywho, Upload is more about how people can live in a virtual afterlife versus in Pantheon of them being virtual gods. Think purgatory for, as well as going for the allegory of purgatory for Upload, and basically Olympus for Pantheon. because that's where the word comes from. Pantheon, Greek gods, the pantheon. The different types of gods, generational gods, so to speak. You know, the greater and lesser beings. So now we got that distinction out of the way. So pantheon is about people in the government who, or contracted by the government, who died, and the government decided to upload them. Remember, they didn't tell anybody. This is their black ops thing. So, yeah, and basically use them as slaves. Basically, it's, well, why should we pay them anything? And that will come into play later. But yeah, basically become virtual slaves and do processing. Now, that doesn't happen in Upload, because in Upload, people are just kind of more bumming around and being bohemians stuck at an apartment structure and surrounding grounds, or not a day spa. More like a place you'd go with your wife, like for like a long weekend or something, like on your anniversary, something like that. It has spas and stuff too, and buffets and stuff. So, it's more of a vacation, but it's purgatory. Trust me, the parallels there are just, ugh. But anyway, so in Pantheon, these uploaded intelligences are put to task, and because they chose the best and brightest, they're put to task, and it's not remedial labor, it's specialized labor. Only really they can really do it, pretty much. So, they have a stock lady who was in a car crash. She got uploaded. The guy was told she died, and the upload didn't take. And then they stuck her behind a virtual desk and made them, a ton of cash until they kind of got aware of that they're being in a more or less virtual prison, more or less reliving the same day over and over again, pretty much. And anyway, so the U.S. does a couple. One official that was known, an astronaut lady, and India decided to do their own one, and he eventually got out, and the dad also got out. It's a lot of story, but basically, these UIs got out, got onto net, squabbled against each other a bit, and told the whole world, by the way, this is how you make uploads, and we exist, pretty much. That was basically the end of season 1. It's well written. It has good pacing. It has good structure. It has good and compelling characters. You feel for these characters. This is called writing, and doing it right, by the way. This isn't some fly-by-night bullshit. Disney can take notes. Much like Yellowstone, but that's another video on its own. But just letting you know, the concept of visualization, like Picard 3, the background will, become clearer and then fade back out to, the rack focus with the background and foreground. To show, remember the picture, the poster, Federation Day, just letting you know. The cinematography is good. It's like that, imagery, the subtlety of telling us something, or showing us something, conveying something to us. Show, don't tell. Anyway, so there's no redundancies. No one's written stupidly. There is some comedy, but it's mostly hard drama, but it's very compelling hard drama. And it's about loss, acceptance, new technology, new worlds. It's like, well, what's this virtual landscape going to look like? Whatever the hell you want it to. Oh, and then capitalism and corporate buyout. It's like, I was on the company server. What the hell happened? Oh, the bigger company, Log Horizons, bought it this morning and took it over. Well, so much for my hiding spot. Ugh. So, it's basically big government acting like big government, and not big government, big corporation and the government. So, yeah. The big boys are flexing their muscles and throwing their weight around quite a lot in this show, and realizing that's not helping. A lot of problem solving. I honestly thought the problem, because the UIs were starting to degrade, honestly thought it was refreshing, like sleeping, but it was also more of a psychological element to it. It's a lot like, uh, we all remember COVID, how very isolating it was, and I thought I could really do this on my standing on my head, but it also got to me too after like 2 years. So, um, yeah, the isolation gets to you, and I could see that, because the UIs are working on computer level processing power, not human regular processing power. So to them, they have to have a conversation, wait, and then like a week or a month later, then get a response. It's like a long distance relationship. It's not going to work. So their emotional degradation is because it's a long distance relationship, not spatial wise, time wise. Because they're moving so fast, it's just not working. They're not feeling the love as continuous as they should. They eventually come to that conclusion that it needs to be love, but it feels very ham fisted and cornball as all fuck. But they try to explain it away psychologically, and like, okay, that makes sense. Once you stop and think a bit about it, or maybe for a few minutes about it, then it makes sense. I had to kind of more accept the corniness of the concept, but ultimately I did accept it as a psychological necessity. People need people. Moving on. So, season two picks up where it's like the aftermath. The internet's shut down. What do we do? Big government's trying to figure this out. They don't know everything. Um, Langstrom, the original guy, I think it was Langstrom, the original science guy who started all this, who was dying and was digitized and uploaded and was trying to become the god he always thought he kind of should be. Okay, so he drank his own Kool-Aid and is trying to pull the standard Armageddon bullshit. It's like I'm gonna be king and kill off all the humans and stuff. Um, because if not in his safe hands, then whose? So all that's going on. Caspian and I forget her name. Marie, I think it was. I forget. There's a lot of names being thrown around in that show. They eventually kind of fall in love, I guess. Again, I haven't really seen it. I saw the progression of their relationship, which is probably better than the fake relationship Caspian had in season one, when he had a not pretend girlfriend, but a paid girlfriend. Eesh. Um. Anyway, so eventually there's this war breaking out between the UIs and the humans, and stopping the big bad and the new safe surf virus. Yeah, that was a bright fucking idea. Yeah. How about a virus that can become sentient? They're a bright idea. That became a problem on its own, and then we have a time jump skip thing because apparently it's 8 episodes, so we kind of need to wrap this up. What became of the world, and even though yes, it is, you know, uh, long distance sprinting from emotional point to emotional point, which a lot of stories do. This kind of does it out of necessity, kind of because of the time constraint. So much like Lose and the Venture Brothers, this is kind of a necessity. So you will allow it. Okay, okay. But can you still tell us a good, compelling story? Now, there's only part where I got clips, but the clips I saw were really compelling because it goes like, like what? 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 So, yeah, I won't spoil it for you, but we'll go into the future the first time, and to the future of the first time skip where there is an basically like one sanctuary place, um, one server, and uh, um, not calculation, clock speed is finance. So you have to, it's currency there. It's the processing power because people there are slower and faster. So the more work you do, I guess, for processing speed, and you get faster. I thought that'd be rather nice. It reminds me a lot and parallels quite a bit this ending of churning singularity, I think it's called Turing singularity. If you've listened to that audiobook, it's the series is actually pretty good. The first one is kind of is depressing, and the last one, the fourth one, is depressing. The two side stories with the computer company, is actually pretty good, if a little weird in spots. And the two in the middle are actually pretty good, which is AI Apocalypse and The Last Firewall. Um, those are really good and really should become movies. But the last one, where um, AI's wait, sorry, no, AI Apocalypse, sorry, is where AI grows rapidly. It's basically the miniature city in a bottle, world in a bottle thing, like from Twilight Zone and all that, or Star Trek, where everything is kind of exponentially grows. This little society under your nose, like you didn't realize it until way later. It's like, oh, this is there now. Um, but yes, the society and the computer grew in AI apocalypse, where resources were given, which were not processing power per se, but powerful computers, sharing of information, and connectivity. So you can barter for access to, broadband or something like that. I don't know how to explain it exactly in such a few minutes, but basically that was it. So later on, when AI was established in the last firewall, we see this kind of almost perfect, not perfect, but this idealistic realized society. AI does everything, but humans get a stipend or whatever you pronounce it. They get money and they live happily. They watch movies. Lead character finds everyone to be a bit too lazy. That's kind of more of a, you know, yeah, there's some laziness. Let's state that. There is some laziness, but everyone's happy. Everyone's like, all the problems have been solved. There's no struggles, no wars, you know. AI controlled everything. It's nice. But it shows how the AIs are monitoring themselves with like in Seinfeld, like the honor system. We police themselves. The humans don't police the AI. The AI police the AI. You know, much like based on the previous books. Dynamic of everyone has like a rating system of, if you trade well and are honest, you get a 90% approval rating. So basically, they get a star rating, more or less. Um, the better trades you are, the honest you are, the honorable you are of your trades, good trades, and so on and so forth. So that also went over to the other book as well, which is surprisingly very, very interesting. But yeah, that's very similar to what's in Pantheon in those last couple of episodes. And that first time skip is where we see this virtual, society like Looney Tunes. This, it's all thought, and people, you know, can know whatever they want, work on whatever they want, express themselves however way they want, and it's rather interesting to imagine. And we really need to have a story where it expands on that concept of what world an idealized, mental utopia would be like, with uploaded intelligences and constructed intelligence and artificial intelligences, and how would that work with the rest of the world in symbiosis? The world would have a stipend, and how you would go traversing from one world into the other, the costs and benefits of doing that, and how difficult that would be at any one given moment, you know and the honestly, yeah, like I said, the fourth book ended rather sadly. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it ended. The end of Pantheon is very similar, but less downer, pretty much. But even though it is slightly worser than the Turing experiment, because, well, I don't want to get into it, but if you listen to the book series and you watch Pantheon, you'll understand. You know, the other one is really better than the other, but Pantheon has an out. There's a chance to go on to bigger and better things. There was an opportunity that was not taken, but maybe not right now. So maybe in the future, there will be an opportunity. That opportunity was given, would be taken. And I wanted, and I thought, I like that. I like that. But it ends on them, well, you'll see. I don't want to spoil it for you. But there is hope. Where in the other story, there wasn't. There was no hope. It's just, well, that is what it is. That's it. After everything, that's it? Yeah, that's it. Done. We're done. Bye. I haven't been that disappointed since when I saw the new Sailor Moon series and had to stand in line in the hot sun in July at AX for like 2 hours to watch basically a repainted version or repainted edition of episode 1 of Sailor Moon. I'm like, that's it? It's basically the exact same thing. You just had a CG transformation sequence. That's it. I stood in line for 2 hours for this shit. Crap. Damn it, I have better things to do with my time than rewatch something I saw in 1990. That's 1990s. That's 1990. The year 1990. So please don't. Ugh. Or whatever year exactly it came out in. But whatever. You get the idea. It's like, ugh. But anyway, yeah. So, is Pantheon Season 1 pretty good? Yes. Was it advertised correctly? No, because the war they stated on, the coming war, is in Season 2, which we didn't get and thought we would never get at the time until now we were given this. And it's fantastic writing. I mean, like, my God, it is high stakes. Everybody have their own agendas. You know, everyone's trying to figure out problems or this, that, boom, boom, boom. It's a little quick. I heard. So, especially at the last 4 episodes, but it all comes down to a rather pretty good conclusion. And I'm thankful for Prime for picking it up and finishing what AMC dropped. Much like they did with Buffy, where it was on Channel 5, and then Channel 5 dropped it, and then Channel 13 picked it up for the rest of the series. I'm like, okay, I don't know why they needed to do that. It was explained to me later in another video, but it still seemed kind of stupid to do, because, well, to me, Buffy was still Buffy, so what was the problem there? So, yes. So hopefully we'll get more seasons of our favorite shows, and hope they're still good. I'm watching Yellowstone right now. Watching Upload Season 3. Billion Season 7 when that comes available. I'm gonna hit that. I'm trying to get some anime seasons. That's gonna be a pain. But that will come soon. And then I don't know, maybe I'll go see a movie next month or something. I don't know. But the year is coming to a close, and thankfully, this is all pretty good too. The only outlandish thing about this whole thing was the quantifyingness of love. Like, it was love all along that fixed the problem. It's like, really? You couldn't just. it was explained, but honestly, it just seems so hokey as a premise. But it makes sense psychologically. So yeah, if you can get your head and wrap it around that, you'll be fine with this show. Um, so that's all I have to say about that. So go check it out, and then in the future, I will try to talk about the ending to this show and my more personal thoughts on it. Other than it's great, it's really insightful, and I'll explain why. Uh, but yeah, so take care, all, and please like and subscribe. See you at the movies.